getting a number of questions from people in my life who just seem to be tuning in to the endless amounts of energy I seem to be oozing out of my eyeballs or something lately. And they go, how the do you do it? Are you brainwashing yourself? To which I reply, no, I just really love what I do. And then they puke. I don't know, in my mind they do, I don't know. But in this video, I'm going to attempt to explain why you needn't puke at the idea of someone actually loving what they do, because the construct of human motivation is more actualizable than you think. The body of literature that currently exists to help us understand what makes us tick can largely be broken down into two categories. One, the mechanisms that help us achieve short-term motivation, and two, the mechanisms that help us achieve long-term motivation. Short-term motivation plays a crucial role in what we know as flow state. This concept was originally coined by psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, whatever, butchered it, in 1975 to describe an optimal state of consciousness. If you've ever been in the zone, you know exactly what being in flow is like. You lose all sense of time, you're completely engrossed by whatever it is you're doing. You find it interesting and challenging, but not too challenging, just the right amount of challenging. And of course, you're receiving immediate feedback as you go along. If you want to learn more about short-term motivation, I'm going to provide some resources in the description box below. But today we're going to be talking about long-term motivation. How do you achieve long-term motivation? This is the million-dollar question around which billions of dollars worth of self-help books have been written. So, of course, I'm going to try to take a jab at this topic. So let's see how it goes. But as it turns out, much of the answer lies in just getting out of your own way. There are two major hurdles that stand in the way between you and living a life to your fullest potential. Hurdle number one is the belief that you are constricted by your present day circumstances. In your thoughts, it might manifest like so. You go, man, I would love to live the nomadic lifestyle and just write books for a living. But I have a mortgage to pay and a great job that pays a mortgage, so it doesn't make sense for me to leave that job now. Or maybe you're like, I would really love to take up dancing. I want to give it a shot. I've always been curious about it. But I'm 41 and I've never taken a dance class in my life, and it would be kind of silly if I were to just start today. So whatever, I won't. What do these two sentiments have in common? The common emotion underlying them is fear. And I get it. This is an emotion that we can all relate to, and I'm not going to sit here and urge you one way or another. I would like to say, however, that if your goal is to achieve that state of waking up each day feeling motivated to start the day, then there's no getting around that emotion, that core emotion of fear. That's because long-term motivation is contingent on the belief that you are free to write your own destiny. And guess what? If you really think about it, I might start sounding like a little stoner, but whatever, bear with me. Like when it comes to freedom, it's almost as if we are constantly bargaining with ourselves. We say, you know, I'm fine with my circumstances now because I'll get the freedom that I ultimately want one day. The thing that I've learned about freedom recently, as put in a way that really clicked for me, is that if the freedom that you're seeking leads you to wanting more freedom, then it's not really freedom. And what freedom ultimately is freedom from your mind. And if that made sense to you, actually, comment below if that made sense to you, because I would really love to know. If that made sense to you, then what really are your excuses? I hope that didn't sound douchey. Anyways, moving on. Hurdle number two is not believing that you are good enough at insert whatever it is you would rather be pursuing right now. By now, we know that our brain is really good at giving us a million different reasons why something wouldn't work out. Let's say your true passion is comedy, but you've never done a single comedy routine in your life. And according to the internet, there are already 1,000,001 different comics with shows on display, and they are all categorically better than you. So why start now, says your brain. Here's the thing about competence. Competence is a function of curiosity or interest and practice. So if you're interested in something, you already have an edge over a majority of the people around you. The thought of learning a new skill is less daunting if it's a skill that naturally sparks your curiosity. It's a whole lot easier to start something if you find it inherently enjoyable, and that's your edge. So who cares what everybody else thinks? Now we arrive at a point in our pep talk in which you might be going, that sounds nice and all, Julianne, but what if I don't have a freaking clue about what I'm passionate about? I've mentioned before that I've been in therapy for 4 years, and one of my favorite ever exercises came rather early on, and I loved it so much I started sharing it with friends and family. So I'd like to close this video by practicing this exercise with you. This is a practice that gets us to visualize our possible futures and possible selves to reveal what it is in life that actually matters to us. And it's lovely because the only right answer, as you'll soon see, is the one that comes to you. I can't sit here and tell you what your values ought to be, what path you ought to be taking, what things you ought to be doing. Only you can decide those things for yourself. And what's really cool is that you already know the answer. If you'll allow me, I would love to walk you through this exercise right now. If at any point you want to pause the video to properly give this practice a go, I would highly encourage you to do that. When you're ready, close your eyes. Imagine yourself at your 90th birthday party. All the people that you care about are there, including your 120-year-old parents if you want them to be. Friends, family, past, present, future. Now comes the point in the party where 3 people each get up to give a speech about you. You can take a moment and visualize who they are now and listen to the speeches that they're giving. What kind of life will you have lived by 90? What will you have taught by virtue of your example? How did you show up for the people you cared about the most? And what will they remember about you? The themes underlying these speeches will tell you something about the things in your life that you value the most. Creating, teaching, helping, connecting, standing up for what is right, whatever it is you value, these are the building blocks of a life that is characteristically yours. Last time I checked, you didn't ask to be born. So in a sense, this already all is kind of a gift. So what's stopping you from living the life that you were destined to live? And I leave you with that. That's our exercise. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment in the comment section below because I'd like to know if you want to be seeing more content like this from me, and I'll see you in my future videos.